I did ask you guys what video should I make next, and one of the suggestions was about the Gorosei. I did plan to make a video about them for a long time, but for one reason or another it did not happen. So when I saw the suggestion, I did decide right away. Thanks for the suggestions, I appreciate it. There isn't that much information about the Gorosei, but what we know so far is that they have the highest position in the government. They are the ones who run things on a daily basis. But in chapter 907, Oda did reveal something that changes completely about who the Gorosei are and their role. In chapter 907, it is stated that the Gorosei are Tenrybitos. This is big news. But what makes things even more interesting is that they are not just Tenrybitos, but they are the highest ranked Tenrybitos. So if the Tenrybitos are gods, then the Gorosei are the gods of gods. Now, before we go deeper in this, let's get one thing out of the way. When I first read that, I thought that was a mistake in translation. But the anime said the same thing, so it could not be a mistake in translation. What are the odds of all these different translators are making the same mistake? When I am in doubt about something, I always check the anime, because the anime has a better translation, especially the dub version. It is easier to translate an anime than a manga, because when the anime writers adapt the text, they use more words to make it more simple to understand without changing the meaning of the words, because they have more space compared to a manga where you are limited. It is possible that Oda made a mistake in that sentence, and he did not mean it to write it like that, but since Oda and his team have not said anything, that sentence is canon until we are told otherwise. What we know about the history of the world government is that 20 kingdoms got together to defeat the ancient kingdom. After they did win the war, they did form the world government, and for a capital they chose Merijoas, and they did decide to leave their countries and reside there. Now, I have a question for you. Did you hear the name Gorosei? The history of the One Piece world that Oda has revealed so far, the Gorosei are not mentioned. So, now the question is, how come they are in charge of the world government? How did that happen? That's why I was surprised when I read that the Gorosei are the highest ranked Tenrybitos. Up until that point, I thought they are just like other members who work for the world government, and they did climb up the ranks and reach the highest position in the world government. But that's not the case. That sentence as of right now makes no sense, based on everything that we know about the story so far. So this means that this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are a lot more things to be revealed. And this got me very excited. I'm very curious to learn more about these mysteries. The Tenrybitos that we know, they are delusional, and they actually believe that they are gods. But we never heard any of that nonsense from the Gorosei. So how come? Why they are so different from the other Tenrybitos? There are no similarities between the Gorosei and the Tenrybitos. They don't even dress the same. But the weirdest thing is that the Gorosei have scars on their bodies, and one of them is carrying a sword. So this means that they did participate in battles, and got wounded. So they did not lead the army as commanders while being in safe zones, but they fought just like soldiers. The Tenrybitos do not take part in battles. Not even the kings or generals fight in battles. If they are ranked highest even among the Tenrybitos, it makes no sense for them to fight like soldiers. Why risk it, if they are that important? They are more important than the Tenrybitos, because they are the ones who are running the government. That's not how an empire is run, nor is a kingdom or a state or any other organization. The body always protects the head, because the head is the most important. But the other thing is that look at how Akainu is talking to them. He's insulting them in their face. If the Gorosei are the gods of gods, then this means that Akainu is the god of gods of gods. And if indeed they are the highest ranked Tenrybitos, then how come the CP0 went behind their backs to deal with Don Flamingo, without even telling the Gorosei anything? And that's why Akainu is making fun of them. Before chapter 907, I thought that they are marines or soldiers who did climb the ranks. And after they did retire from active duty, they were offered the position of the Gorosei. And that would explain the scars on their bodies. For example, now that Sengoku has retired and one of the members dies or is fired, Sengoku could be offered the position, since he has proven his worth to the government throughout his life. And that's why I thought the Gorosei are so different from the Tunebitos, because they are normal people who lived a normal life, and they did earn their position and not inherit it. I said earlier that if you look at the history, you don't find the Gorosei in it. Now we know that the 20 kingdoms did join forces to form the world government, and those 20 royal families are known as Tunebitos. So how came to be that the Gorosei have the highest power even among the Tunebitos? Why did the 20 families accept the Gorosei as their leaders? If the Gorosei are chosen among the Tunebitos, then why some of them did get all the power and some did not? And those who did not, why would they accept that? If the Gorosei was comprised of 20 members and each royal family had a seat, then it would make sense. So each family chooses a member to represent them in the Gorosei. Because why go to all that trouble, fighting the ancient kingdom and winning the war, leaving their countries where they had absolute power to go to Mary Ross and form the world government? And after doing all that, they did hand over all the power to these 5 people. As things stand right now, it makes no sense. That's why I'm very curious to learn the full story. But here are 2 theories on how that could make sense. Theory number 1. What if Imu chose 5 kids when they were born and took them under his care, and he did raise them properly in order to become competent people, and not allow them to be raised by those delusional morons? And that's why the Gorosei are so different from the Tunebitos. And that's why they were allowed to participate in battles. Maybe that was done by Imu to test them, so they can prove their worth, but also to gain experience and becoming more knowledgeable. Because it is not easy to run an empire. And the other thing why allowing them in battle is not a problem is because they are expendable. There are more where they came from. Imu can just take other kids to replace them. We saw that some Tunebitos have multiple wives, so I don't think Imu will have problems finding new kids. The second theory is that maybe when the 20 kingdoms did join forces and they did merge their armies, they needed leaders to lead their army. And all of them chose these 5 leaders who they thought they are the most capable of leading this massive army. Maybe on all of them was used the power of Ope no Mi Delfruit that Law now has, and they are all immortal. Or maybe Imu has special powers and he can make people immortal. Either way, that would be very useful story-wise, since they were there during the war against the ancient kingdom. Oda can use them to tell what did happen through them in a very convenient way, without the need to come up with excuses. Since they were there and did witness what did happen, and not just during the void century but for 800 years, everything can be told by them in a very efficient and precise way. Anyway, what did you think about what I said? Do you agree or you have your own theories? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.